Hello, 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 friends and family, paranormal fanatics. This is a rainy day where I'm at, which is nice because, well, otherwise we'd be in snow, right? Um, I just figured I would take a minute or two to chat and try to catch up for a minute. I don't know how long this live will be. Maybe just a minute, maybe 20 minutes. I don't know. But either way, you're here, I'm here. Yes, you're going to get the wipers going once in a while. It's raining. What can I do, right? So I am thinking that I don't know what I'm thinking. I just figured, like I said, I'd go live. You know, I miss doing them. I do plan on trying to do interviews again and start hosting that kind of stuff, as well as when the weather gets better, doing at least cemeteries, if nothing more. I got, once again, several places on my bucket list that's local that shouldn't be too. I don't know what this guy is doing across the street here. Doing something illegal, that's for sure. Oh well. No harm, no foul, right? We'll let this guy go. But, yeah. I am very interested in looking into a hotel in New York called the Shanley. Not the Stanley in Colorado, but the Shanley. I don't know uh, if they purposely tried to do a name similar to the Stanley to get name recognition, but I don't know. Either way, though, the Shanley in New York has a haunted history as well. So I will probably see if I could do that this summer. Well, you know, the wind's picking up, rain's coming down. I have to say, gotta love this weather, right? This kind of weather kind of gets me in the Halloween mood, where it's kind of chilly. You know, a little bit of wind. So I'm also trying to think of things that's happened in my past that I can tell you guys paranormal related, that you guys would be interested in. I have stuff, but I feel like some of the stuff I keep repeating over and over, and you guys are probably bored with by now. However, I know one thing that the whole group, I'll tell you about one of the major cases that was not too long, well, it's been a few years now, that all the group was pretty much part of, and that was investigating a local building that used to be a factory. And the factory was known for doing parts of guns, military grade guns, from my understanding. Not the whole guns weren't made here, but parts of it. So we were investigating this place, and we've been there several times, and we had no major issues. You know, it was it almost became like a little fun hangout, in which was a mistake on our end because we got too relaxed. We stopped kind of doing the very basics of what you should do as a paranormal team, or at least what we do as a paranormal group. The simple things, because we were there. Well, at this point, we were there 2 or 3 times with no threatening situation going on. It was just shadow figures, things interacting with our laser grid, stuff like that, things that would make you kind of jump out and get a little spooked, but nothing that we would say was harmful. Well, last time we were there, though, this big factory that's been closed down, we were there, and we had been set up, and we've been there for a couple hours, getting the normal stuff, little noises, which closed factory, you're going to get noises, but, just things, another fun night. Little things going on. And all of a sudden, it seemed like almost a dream, like to me, like things were just kind of starting to seem different, weird. Things started, the factory itself was getting darker, even though it had already been nighttime, and no different lights were out, nothing like that. But the factory itself seemed to get a darker energy to it. And after a few minutes of us going around, and I was with Leefoot, and I started asking him, hey, where is everybody? Because all of a sudden it seemed like none of the group was around. Like we were just all on our own. He just kind of looked at me and shrugged his shoulders and was like, not sure. So at that point I said, well, it's best if we go and find them, because we're doing a paranormal investigation. You can't just disappear. I mean, you gotta keep things together. So we started going through this factory, and when we found the other groups, there was like 2 or 3 pockets, or 2 or 3 separate groups, just kind of off to their own, which wasn't the way it was supposed to be. Everybody just seemed to be very agitated and annoyed with each other, and something was definitely working. And believe it or not, we're in the area where this closed building is. That's what made me think about it. I'm not going to point it out because I don't have permission to, but we're in the general area. So at this point, I noticed that something was messing with us emotionally, getting everybody agitated. People were getting mad. We were starting very uncharacteristic of our group. We're very congealed. We're very, very close-knit group, to where we just don't do that. So a little interesting fact, at this light here, there is a barrel on the right hand side of this light. If you see it there, there's a stone that marks a lone grave that we have no idea, nobody knows why it's there. There's talk that there used to be a cemetery in this area that nobody knows what happened to, and we're curious if that's where that was in that spot there, because there is a grave marker there. So back to the original story, I could just tell that things were not normal. So at that point, we decided to get together and just end what we were doing, because that was supposed to be our last night there. We were wrapping it up. We have a spiritual advisor on the group that was going to come in at the client's request and see what they could do to remove anything in the building, kind of clear it up. That because they were renting it out for their garage to work on vehicles. So we decided at that point we were getting so much going on that we better just step away from it and let our spiritual advisor come in and cleanse the building, because I tell you, that was some bat snot crazy feelings going on that night. I tell you, it was something. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer anything that might about the paranormal, or whatever that might comes up. Any questions you might have. Another place in the area, a big building. I don't see, unfortunately, we are only allowed to say so much about our cases, because we're trying to respect the clients. How about this? Let's change to the story that I was going to say, to our local mall. I love talking about that place. It's no longer a mall. The property's still there. There's still storefronts. They turned it into a strip mall. And so, sorry, I was concentrating. So, the local mall in Warren, Pennsylvania, has all kinds of history of paranormal activity from back when I used to do maintenance there. That was something, I was always kind of creeped out about the place. I'll tell you that much. We were always getting noises and such going on. Always, after the mall closed, whole different vibe at night. And I suppose you could say that's fair in a lot of big spaces like that. You get the normal sense of being felt like you're being watched and such. However, before it completely closed down and was sold off and turned into strip malls, we were lucky enough, Warren Area Society Paranormal was lucky enough to go in and use our equipment in the empty storefronts and things like, the main hallways and such. We were very lucky that we were able to go in and check things out. I tell you what, it did not disappoint. So much went on there, from a little Spanish-speaking boy. I don't remember his name. It's been a few years. From a little Spanish boy that was clung onto our one member Stephanie. When we got over the spirit box, we would hear him trying to say "mom," and we don't speak Spanish in the group, unfortunately, but we had somebody with us that was fluent in Spanish. And as we were doing one of our investigations in the old shoe store, the boy Miguel, that's the boy's name, Miguel. He said he was about 5 years old. Why he would be in the mall as a spirit is beyond me. But he grew attached to Stephanie, and so we had somebody there that was explaining this. He was hearing things coming through the spirit box, talking about back and forth with this young boy in Spanish. He was able to understand that all he would get, though, was that the boy believed that Steph might be his mom, and he was wanting to talk to her and that kind of stuff. So we weren't able to get a lot of details, but I tell you, the person that was translating for us, he was very shocked that he was able to hold this conversation with this young boy. Now, on the back of the property, we still go to the back of the property sometimes with our equipment. Um, we go back there, and if you look through my previous videos, you'll see it labeled most haunted parking lot in America, maybe most haunted parking lot. Check out my older videos, you'll see it. Where there seems to be three entities in the back of the mall. Two young girls and a older guy named Michael. We'll get the young girls come through, and when I say young, I'm thinking maybe 12, preteen, maybe early teens. They will be back there, and we usually get to speak with them first without too much issue. We'll hear them say a few words, and then all of a sudden the air will get kind of darker, heavier, and we'll hear a guy's voice pop up, which would be Michael. We never are able to get the names of the young girls through the spirit box, but we've gotten Michael a few times, and he stops them from talking, which really bothers me that he has that much control over them, because that's just not right. And he hasn't like physically came at us as in like to do physical harm, but he likes to project a dark, heavy energy at us and try to scare us away. And I don't believe that this entity really cares for women much, because just when it's the guys there, he doesn't seem to be as grouchy, but when we have the women talk to him, he gets kind of a little vocal, and not in the nice way. Speaking of that, it's been a few years. We in this mall, when it was closed down, well, part of it was closed down. The one storefront, pretty big box store. We were able to, well, when I say we, I was working there, and we had Mormon missionaries. Oh, I'm driving Tom, sorry, I can't see your name very well. I'm in Pennsylvania right now, driving down 62 South, up by Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't know if you know where Erie, PA is, but I'm close to there, about 45 minutes from there. That gives you a good landmark. The place I'm talking about is in Warren, Pennsylvania. Hopefully that helps out. So I was able to get these young guys that are Mormon missionaries to come on a ghost hunt with me at this property. Now, technically they weren't allowed to do such a thing, but they're no longer on their mission, so they're pretty safe. They shouldn't get in too much trouble if somebody figures out who they are. But so we're in these big storefront, empty storefront, with the equipment out, have the spirit box handy, EMF going, that kind of stuff, and two young Mormon missionaries, and they got their regular clothes on, and nothing major's going on, but I can tell that they're a little sketched out by doing this, but give them credit, they kind of was good. And maybe I shouldn't have asked, but after about 20 minutes, little things were going on, but nothing big. I decided to kind of poke the sleeping bear a little bit, kind of do a little more than I probably should have. we had the spirit box going, and I asked the spirit box, I was like, do you believe in the, religion, a little more specific than that. And I hear something like no come out of it. And the missionaries, the Mormon missionaries, kind of looked at each other. And I asked, well, are we safe here? And the voice came across, don't know. And they're starting to look like, oh boy. Finally, after a couple more questions like that, I asked them, I spoke and said, well, these guys are on a mission for God, that God is, they're spreading their gospel. And this spirit box went, they did not like the thought of that at all. It was saying things like full swear words, but they're saying F you, shut up, get out. Oh man, that thing got crazy. Their eyes got big. I'm like, at that point I knew it wasn't safe really for them, at least. So at that point I was like, okay, we need to stop. We need to end it before it gets crazier. You know what I mean? So, and I think they were happy that we ended on that at that point, because that thing was quite vocal. That once I said what they were doing, that spirit box went crazy. But guys, the rain's starting to pick up more. The roads are starting to get a little more slick. So, not slick, but starting to see water on it. So I'm going to let you guys go to be safe. So I really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm by Erie, Pennsylvania. I don't know if the internet was cutting out when I said that. I'm about 40 minutes away from Erie, Pennsylvania on Route 62 South. So I don't know if that answers your question or not. But yeah, it's time for me to end this live because the weather's getting a little more. So I appreciate you guys popping in. If you haven't, take a moment, subscribe for me and all that fun stuff. As always, friends and family, stay spooky.